Tracker flipping. This helps to track your progress and remove any emotional blocks. Daily reflections, and reflect on how your body responds to love and care. Smoke cleanse, bath water candles, noon imagery, renew. This is more than a journal. It's a spiritual house cleansing for your entire being. Watch your aura begin to change from fear to confident. Smile totally radiant, and your walk, it is going to be absolutely glowing. So if you are ready for balance, clarity, alignment, start your 30-day reset today with House of Wisdom Cleaning House by ordering your ebook for only $10 on Cash App tag $Health and Abundance. Put your email when sending your money. Your body is sacred. Your spirit deserves care. Clean your house from the inside out. Hashtag House of Wisdom. Hashtag cleaning has. Hashtag Reiki healing. Hashtag spiritual rest. Hashtag holistic wellness. Hash 30-day healing. Welcome to freedom and rejuvenation. Your body is a house, and it deserves to be clean, nourished, and protected. House of Wisdom presents Cleaning House. This journal is for all men, women, children, and all walks of faith. This journal includes 30 days of healing, mindful eating, spiritual journaling, Reiki water healing. Begin each day with a morning practice and end your day with an evening one. This helps too. Program your body with intention, balance, and divine flow. Eat with intention. Food as medicine. Learn how to nourish yourself with high vibrational fruits and vegetables that support your healing journey. Writing affirmations, checklist pages, tracker flipping. This helps to track your progress and remove any emotional blocks. Daily reflections, and reflect on how your body responds to love and care. Smoke cleanse, bath water candles, noon imagery, renew. This is more than a journal. It's a spiritual house cleansing for your entire being. Watch your aura begin to change from fear to confident. Smile totally radiant, and your walk, it is going to be absolutely glowing. So if you are ready for balance, clarity, alignment, start your 30-day reset today with House of Wisdom Cleaning House by ordering your ebook for only $10 on Cash App tag $Health and Abundance. Put your email when sending your money. Your body is sacred. Your spirit deserves care. Clean your house from the inside out. Hashtag House of Wisdom. Hashtag cleaning has. Hashtag Reiki healing. Hashtag spiritual rest. Hashtag holistic wellness. Hash 30-day healing.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. I hope everyone is doing well. I know that I said that I was going to probably do readings yesterday, but I kind of changed my mind. Something Spirit sent me in another direction. So, excuse me, y'all. I'm going to go ahead on and start my next 3-part series, which is about spiritual discernment in the digital age, or in the new age of what we call the right now. I think that I'll go ahead and do that because it's kind of where I'm at right now. So this is going to be a 3-part series. As you can see, the first part of the series is about prophecy or manipulation. The second part will be about algorithm addiction, and then the last one will be about how to reclaim your mind. And I believe that during this time, with everything that's going on, we need to kind of explore this road, because in the last series we spoke about a lot of things that was dealing with the watchers and how they manipulated and how that ended out in chaos. So I felt that it was only right to keep going and expound on the things that we've already talked about. So today's one will be starting with about prophecy or manipulation. Let's break down both of the words. Prophecy meaning someone comes and tells you something that is or something that has came to them through spirit. A lot of times you hear the word prophecy being used in the church atmosphere, or prophets, that is normally when that is used doing some type of religious situation. So, and let's talk about manipulation. Manipulation is when someone takes something about you or something they know about you and uses it against you in a way where it keeps you bound to them. And the last part of the last series was about being bounded or binding, things that bind you in life. So not every hard season will be attacked. Most of the time when prophetic and manipulative actions really stand high is during hard time, spiritual hard times, or financial hardships, because these are the most times when people are looking for things out of desperation. They need a quick fix. So a lot of times you look for things that you can maybe confide in to kind of get you to a space where you have some type of hope. But just know that sometimes every season is not an attack, and not every hard season is a prophecy. Sometimes it's just life, lifing. Sometimes it's consequences from roads and things that we've chosen, and sometimes it's growth. So sometimes in order to grow, you have to go through a series of things to make sure that you're not in the same panic place. Because if you remember when we talked about the binding, a lot of it comes from the nervous system. So anytime you get anxious or anxiety or feel like you have to get something, that comes from your nervous system, which creates these emotions that makes you feel like that you just can't get it done. And sometimes it's manipulations dressed up as God said. We have to slow down and discern. So I always speak about the discernment part, because in those moments of time, you don't really have time to discern it out when it's happening in real time. You just have to listen to key things that's going on to make your decision at that point of time. So this is what you call your vulnerable season test. Financial hardship and spiritual dryness are the two most vulnerable states a believer can be in. When money is tight, when the bills are due, when the prayer life feels quiet, when doors aren't opening, you become emotionally suppressed. And seasons attracts two types of voices: the voices of God and the voice of opportunists. And they sound familiar if you are in desperation. Let's be honest. When someone is struggling financially and the voice says, if you sold $500 right now, God will release your breakthrough, that hits different when something is due right then and there. Now listen closely and carefully. Yes, sowing is in the Bible, but the pressure to sow is not. Manipulation preys on urgency. Things like, if you don't act right now, you'll miss your season. This is your last warning. God told me your money is blocked because of disobedience. That brings fear, shame, and adrenaline, because it puts you in a panic mode. And for those of you that's of Christian faith, 2 Corinthians 9:7 says, each one of us must give as he has decided in his heart, not reluctantly or under compulsion, meaning you are not to give under panic or stress. The Most High does not need your panic to bless you. If someone is leveraging your fear of financial collapse to gain control, access, or money, that is not prophecy, that is pressure. That's the difference. What real prophetic correction sounds like in hard times is God is teaching you stewardship. There's wisdom needed in this season. This is pruning, not a punishment. Be patient. Don't rush to decisions. Notice the difference. It produces responsibility and peace, not chaos and urgency. Anything that puts you in a chaotic realm, just remember the watchers, because that's what they did. They came from a peaceful, watchful place, and immediately, once they started seeing humanity, and Azazel came to lead, they all were in chaos, and in the end, the judgment was their spiritual punishment. During your financial hard times, you may feel strain. It's usually over natural consequences, where there was a period where you may have been overspending and not planning for the future. Life transition, meaning a job shift, you lost a job, or the job is not giving you as much money as it used to. You relocated, so you have to spend more money. Growth stretching to its capacity. So when you get into your spiritual pruning phase, this is when God is refining dependency and discipline, meaning you have to adapt to what is going on in the current situation. And sometimes it be those quick, fast things you can't see that spirals you into these natural consequences. It's rarely a demon blocking your money. And this is important because blaming demons keeps people from learning skills. We are spiritual, but we are also practical, meaning sometimes you have to use your mental just to reevaluate and not look at everything in an evil manner. But if you keep speaking it into existence, so mote it be. So therefore it will be done. If you keep blaming it on those things, then eventually you're going to walk it into your reality. So let's talk about when someone says you feel distant from God because you're under judgment. That may not be accurate, because sometimes your spiritual dryness can mean you're growing, you're healing from trauma, you're detoxing from religious performance, your nervous system is exhausted. Not every quiet season is punishment. Sometimes that quiet season is just for you to reevaluate, relook, and say, hey, okay, these are the things that I need to work on. These are the things that I noticed. These are past things that keeps on recycling and stuff in my life, and I need to clean it up. Those are those recycles, is what I call them. But wilderness produces clarity. Manipulation produces the confusion. So if the trauma is already there, and then you have somebody saying, well, you're not going anywhere, you're not getting anywhere because of the trauma you dealt with, that's not helping you. That's saying that this is your fault, the reason why that you're not progressing and you're not growing. And that's not so. Red flags in your hard season. If someone demands money tied to your breakthrough, claims excessive access to your destiny, says only they can unlock your blessing, that they are the only one who can unlock it, uses your hardship to establish authority, this is not prophetic alignment. This is spiritual dependency and creation. Some insight for this season, of course, is that you are not cursed. You are in correction period. Some of you are not blocked. You're being matured. And some of you are not under attack. You're being taught discipline. Hard times does not automatically equal spiritual warfare. sometimes God is developing wisdom so you don't sabotage your next level. Meaning before you grow and you move into your next level, there are some things that need to be unfolded before you get there. So take the time to unfold and unpack those things, so when you do get to your next level and this time comes around again, you know how to deal with it. You have already set your nervous system up to not go in panic, fight, or flight and be fighting a ghost, a spiritual ghost, a spiritual warfare that does not exist. Because you discerned it, you've been through it, and you can say, hey, okay, I know what's reality and what's being manipulated here. And that's what I always say. For every situation, it's going to have interference. Interference is just a test to see how far that you have come. If the interference takes you down back to your lowest state of emotion, that means you have not mastered that trauma. In season of lack and silence, guard your hearts from desperation. Teach us to discern from pressure, from prophecy. Learn to tell the difference between urgency and instruction. If we need discipline, give yourself humility. Meaning, even if you don't get it right on the first time, don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself into the ground because you got it wrong. Have humility for yourself, because a lot of things start with us, not the outside people. The outside people, we give more grace than we do to our own selves. If we need strategy, ask for clarity. Go to Spirit and ask for clarity. Look, I'm having this issue. Can you please give me some type of insight on what I need to do to make this situation better? And be patient with the clarity, because sometimes clarity comes in bits and pieces, because when you get it in human form, it's overstimulating and it's overwhelming. And you need it in the right now. Everything is the right now, because we live in such a fast place. If we need healing, regulate your nervous system. Take you some breaths. Ground yourself. Break every manipulative voice that tries to put fear and restore peace to your finances and stability. Now let's speak on it let's go a little bit further as far as family goes. When it comes down to your money, your prayer life feel quiet, your marriage feel tense, your children is acting out, communication kind of feels off, then this is when every voice sounds urgent. And urgency feels prophetic when you're vulnerable. But hear me clearly. Desperation makes manipulation sound like revelation. Hard times lower emotional resistance. When someone is financially strained, spiritually discouraged, maritally frustrated, and family conflicted, they become highly suggestible. You are the target. Not because you're weak, but because you're just mentally tired. And tired people will cling on to things even if they're not true. You just want it to all be over, the storm to be over, so you can move on. And sometimes that storm doesn't quite end right when you want it. Sometimes that storm lasts out longer than you plan, which you shouldn't plan, because you cannot direct time on breakthroughs and realities that are going on. You just need to learn the lessons to get through those times. If when someone says your marriage is struggling because you didn't sow, think about that in a right state of mind. My marriage is struggling because I didn't sow. Didn't sow what? No, my marriage is struggling because right now we are not confronting a conflict that is a part of our marriage, whether it's financially, whether it's communicative, and this is why my marriage is struggling. Your business isn't growing because you didn't listen to me. I mean, no. My business may not be growing because I'm not advertising to the right people. My business may not be growing because I forgot to do something in the building process. Not because of you. Because my work can't speak for you, and your work can't speak for me. If you don't give now, the door will close. Well, maybe it was a door that wasn't supposed to open in the first place. So yeah, let spirit determine what needs to be open for me. Maybe that door need to stay closed because right now I'm not mature enough to walk through that door. But these are the things that people say. They're extorting your obedience. Because you're not obedient to them, they're going to manipulate and say, well, God not going to bless you anyway. Or you're not going to get the blessing that you're looking for because you didn't do X, Y, Z. That's why your marriage struggling now. No. That's why your business is not growing. That's why you're not going to be successful. Some things could just be poor budgeting, different mindsets. We're not all thinking alike. Stress response is different. Life's transitioning. People transitioning. Which that is a lot that's going on in the world right now. A lot of people are transitioning from this physical life over into the spiritual realm. People are passing away at a rapid pace, and there is no age on that. These transitions that we're not ready for, and people are passing away, and the trauma that comes back from the family and on life situations, whether marriage or just household in general, just mean that the adaptation is not there. Rarely is it a curse. You know when somebody is spiritually attacking you. When someone spiritualizes every bill, they remove accountability. So if you spiritualize everything that go on in your house, you taking away the accountability for yourself, things that you may have done, and putting the blame somewhere else. And then you're going to allow another person to come in and manipulate you and stamp that thought that, yeah, maybe it is somebody else's fault. No, it's me. Let me take accountability on my part. Maybe me and my husband don't see eye to eye right now because maybe the way we're both thinking and not communicating is a downfall to why financially in our marriage we're not progressing or physically progressing, or our marriage is just falling in a hole because we're not communicating. He thinking one way, I'm thinking another. Meanwhile, I got the kids, I got the job, he got to work, we got all these bills steady coming in, it's not going to stop. We don't have time to sit down and communicate and discern what is hindering the marriage. Conviction leads to responsibility. Manipulation leads to shame. If somebody is behind you in your ear constantly telling you stuff and making you feel some type of way about why you're not growing, that's a manipulative tactic. Instead, they should be saying, well, let's look at what you're doing and let's try to figure out how it can become better. Instead, they behind you telling you how you not going to make it because you did X, Y, and Z. That's a hater. And they don't have nothing best about your interest in their heart. And 9 times out of 10, they spiritually broken and need somebody to take it out on, and you just happen to be the candidate. Now, in certain situations, the manipulation isolates you even better because you're in an abusive situation. So therefore, your separation and safety and discernment means that you're tolerating harm, which is a manipulative tactic as well. And sometimes it can lead to destruction where you or your family gets hurt. So you have to be way more deeply discerning, even more discerning, when the person that you fell in love with all of a sudden starts putting their hands on you, starts speaking down on you, start talking to you all types of reckless, and just stripping away your entire life being, making you feel like you're less than anything. And then the icing on the cake is, well, if you leave my manipulation, then I'm going to hurt someone that you love, or I'm going to even hurt you. Nobody else in this world is going to have you. That is the worst manipulation that you could ever be in. And a lot of it falls on deaf ears. And that means that your nervous system is at an all-time high. Constantly, 24 hours a day. You cannot breathe because you don't know what's next. Sometimes it can be unhealed childhood wounds colliding. Things you've been through as a child, from being beaten as a child to now you're being beaten in adulthood. Communication immaturity. Financial stress bleeding into your intimacy. We can't get ahead on our bills, so I don't even have time to kiss you because I'm feeling some type of way. I feel like you just leaving me out to dry, and we need these bills paid. I don't need your love right now. I need you to help me pay a bill. Fight or flight. When it comes down to your family, you'll cut everyone off. Blood don't mean nothing to you. And let me tell you something about the blood means nothing to you, because family members, some of y'all just need to be cut off. Because sometimes y'all think y'all way bigger than the program. And you're not. Like, your throne is just so kingdom-wise that you just looking down on everybody. Stop. You owe them nothing. You don't. Even with children. Once your children get grown, they done been entitled so long since birth that they feel like once they get grown, they still entitled. No, you're not. But if you want mama's help or you want daddy's help, then okay, that's fine. But entitlement, you are not. Because you have to go on your own journey, and you live in a time now where discernment can be over in a split second. The discernment is, I'm taking you up out of here. Let your mama sing slow behind you. I'm willing to go to prison over you. That's how little time window of discernment y'all have. And manipulation is very easy for this generation. Because you have the phone, you scrolling, you seeing all this stuff that goes on every day. And I mean, all the way down to the babies. Manipulation. They are going in schools and hurting the teacher. And then let's get to the school. The school that labels and manipulates you as far as who your child is. Oh, your child got ADHD. Your child got all this stuff going on, and you need to put them on these medications and pills to make them sit down and sit still all day long. Meanwhile, you are drugging your child into a trance. Manipulation. Because the school says so. They can't deal with them. You can't deal with them. So let's drug them up. Do you not know what you're doing to your child's brain at a young age with giving them all this medication to make them sit still? You are taking away what is naturally given to a child, which means for them to move around, be active, be playful. No, when you carry them in the womb, that's when you created that mentality for that child. If your nervous system was high your whole pregnancy, guess what? You get the high pregnancy child. If you was always going when you was pregnant instead of sitting down, bonding with your womb, speaking life to your womb, then that's where you have to understand the difference. See, it's a lot of things they don't teach us in life processes that you learn later on once it's already in life. And then they'll turn around and use it, become bitter, make you bitter, and then say it's empowerment, but really it's still bondage instead of correction, restoring the order. You got your child sitting there all day long in that school on all these medications the doctor done gave you to make your child sit down and be quiet. Meanwhile, the quiet ones that's not doing anything, they getting manipulated too because they don't speak. I know because I have a granddaughter who she's not very vocal. And she's been manipulated since she started school and punished for not being a vocal child. Do you know the trauma that it does to a child? Because as a child is growing up and they're getting ready to go to school, we're teaching them that once they get to school, it's supposed to be a fun time. You're supposed to be learning your numbers. Like, these are the things that they visually see in the cartoons and in the learning programs. And then once they get to reality, that's not what they get. They get manipulated. These teachers are nasty. They don't want to teach your child because they don't talk or they talk too much. That is manipulation. Then they get a label. Then they get all these other things, these IEPs, and everybody's in special education. Look at all these children today. The first thing they come to you with is a way to get a check for special education so they can label your baby for the rest of their life. That is manipulation. And it's labels. And you have to discern what is really best. To be honest, if I had a choice in these days and time, I would be homeschooling. I wouldn't send my child out no door to these schools. No shade, because not all teachers are bad. There's still some good ones in there. But there's a lot of young ones in there that been bullied and branded their whole school life and just got out of school, to be honest. And now they manipulating your baby because they still at that age that they at. Traumatized. And they're talking to these kids crazy. And then meanwhile at home, they got the same thing going on. What do you think that you're building? What brand are y'all building? Some of the red flags when you're in hard times that people use. They use these manipulative tactics. So therefore, they have to wait their time. So yes, that's just the first part of it, and I can expound more on this, but that's just where I'm going to stop for today. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I will continue tomorrow. We'll finish up this first part, and I will start on the second one. Until then, y'all have a great day. Enjoy your Wednesday, And until we talk again, stay safe.
That support your healing journey.